So we're out here on the back porch, so that means pretty much one thing. We're gonna get some seed starts going. So far in our garden, we're starting to bounce back and things are going really well, but we still have a lot of space in that garden to utilize and to do more with. So let's talk about what we're gonna get planting before we start plugging them into these trays. So first, we talked about the melons. We got those one melons coming back, the strawberry watermelons and kind of that honeydew cantaloupe cross. Well, in addition, we're gonna add these, I don't know how to pronounce it, it's Madhu Rashan honey. The best I read about this, it's a newer seed to Baker Creek, and it's basically like a cantaloupe that would almost fit like in your hand. But the idea was they'd be pretty neat, I thought, to be able to cut them in half, just scoop the seeds out and just eat them straight from the rind, and we could eat them like a good summertime treat. Now, we have a crazy amount of slicing tomatoes right now, but in addition to those, we're gonna do more like a salad style tomato or a snacking tomato, and we're gonna go ahead and give these ones a try. These looked really neat. My daughter thought they looked pretty neat, and I really wanna get her into gardening, and so one way to get them involved, not only hands-on, is to let them have some say in what you're gonna plant. So we're gonna do these Brad's Atomic Grapes. They look pretty cool. Baker Creek's website, they talk about it as if it's like one of their favorites. So we're gonna give it a try and we'll see how it produces. I wanna be able to do some tomato sauces and stuff like that as we head into the winter time. Well, I can't do that with just slicing style tomatoes. I need some form of a paste tomato. So I picked up these Amish paste tomatoes, and then we can use these for different tomato pastes and different tomato sauces moving forward into the winter time. You can't go into the summertime gardening without some form of a summer squash. So for our family, we eat a good nut bound of zucchini. We'll fry it, we'll saute it, we'll grill it, put it in breads or casseroles. And so we're gonna go with your standard Black Beauty zucchini, and we're gonna get these plugged in, and we'll eat a lot of these, so hopefully these will produce well for us. We really like the taste of squash here, but squash just gets so much softer, and the texture of it's a little bit harder for like my daughter to accept. So we used to live near a co-op grocery store when we were in our city that had a lot of locally grown organic produce, and one of those things was a lemon squash. It's a lot smaller than your normal squash, but I remember that they seemed to stay more dense and firm, and we got a lot of use out of it. So I found those seeds on Baker Creek's site, so I picked these up. So we're gonna give these lemon squash a try, and hopefully they'll grow really well and do really well for us. My daughter's favorite vegetable, probably hands down, is green beans. So I planted those contender green beans to start out with, which is just your standard style of like a green bean. Well, now that those are starting to take off, we saw this really cool looking bean that came highly recommended by Baker Creek that we're gonna plant in addition to those contenders, and that's the dragon tongue beans. Not only is it a cool name, they look cool, but they're supposed to be a great flavor according to what all I had read about them. So we're gonna give these a try too, and we're gonna plant just as many of these as we have of the contenders, and we'll see how they each do in comparison to each other. So that's all the ones that we're gonna get started in the seed trays today. So let me get all the stuff that we need. We need our cells, and we need our dirt, and we need our misting container, and that's all we need. So let's get these things plugged in, and let's get them growing. So guys, I don't know about in your area, but we're having a heck of a time finding seed starter mix in our area this year. This Jiffy is my favorite ones to get. Usually I can buy this 12-quart bag at our local Walmart, and it's organic for like $5.99. Well, they've been out for a long time, and online it's still like super expensive. And so I went to my local hardware store and Tractor Supply areas, and these are really the only ones I could find. And even then, they literally had one bag of each. Of course, we used this on the last set of seedlings that we started, and it actually did really good, so I'm not disappointed in that. There was an organic Miracle Grow, so I'll give it a try. And then I've never tried this one before. It was Whitney Farms Organic Natural Seed Starting Mix. Now, there's not much in the bag, so this bag particular isn't going to go very far. But they, like I said, they literally had only one bag of each, so I got to get what I can. And so we'll see how it all works out. But I tried my best to get organic if at all possible. And so this is what we're going to have to get it started. All right, so we got all the seed trays started. Now, I've gone away from the little seed trays for right now. I think I'm gonna be mostly using these bigger ones for right now, only because my soil is pretty much just a native soil. I didn't do a whole lot to it other than just adding some rabbit manure, and I ran my chickens on it a good amount of time prior to gardening over there. So this way it gives kind of a larger area for root development in the ground. Yes, it costs me more in my seed starting mix right now. However, for right now, until I can do some more amending to my soil, I think this is going to be my better bet for the time being. So now let's go ahead and get our holes and let's start plugging in some of these seeds. So I'm thinking I'm going to do 5 squares of each of the plants that I'm going to be doing. So you can see I'll do 5 here of the dragon tongue, 5 here of the Brad's atomic grapes, 5 here of the paste tomatoes, and then we got the 5 melons, 5 black beauty zucchini, and 5 of the lemon. And I think this will be a good starting point for me, so that way once I get them plugged in, I can see what ends up germinating successfully. I'll get them added into the garden now, and then if I got more, like, you know, the only ones that I think I might end up adding additional to is probably going to be the paste tomatoes, just so I can get more of my garden out of that, and maybe the zucchini or the squash. But we'll see what kind of spacing we have in the garden before we do more than that. We'll just try to get 5 of each going for right now. So we'll start plugging in these seeds and get that stuff watered down after we do that. All right, all seeds are in the dirt. Now we just got to water them down and let those things set. So I have a little bit of concern with that Whitney Farms organic natural stuff that I've never bought before. So this seed tray, I don't know how well you can see it. So I sprayed a lot of water and it absorbed the water up. Fantastic. Now I didn't use near the amount of water. And I don't know if you can see it, but like the water, this Whitney Farm stuff just isn't soaking up the water, and I didn't compact it at all. You know, I did it the same way that I did this other side, which you can see it's just dense, moist soil. And over here where we did like the Miracle Grow, kind of filled it in, was no problem. But something about where this Whitney stuff went in, it's just pulling up, and I assume it'll absorb in here pretty soon, but it makes me a little bit worried about how well it's gonna get that moisture down to the seed. So we'll have to keep an eye on that and see how that plays out moving forward. So a little update, I had said recently that I felt like the peppers weren't producing, but that I was gonna give them another week or two because they were a late bloomer last time. I came out today, and I don't know if you can see it right there where it says jalapeno. I finally had one of them pop up. So I think we might be right about like it was last time, where these were just slow producing. And like I said, we'll give it another week or two, but that's a good sign that we got that one has finally poked through. So guys, now that we got the seeds all finished up, I need to go out here and I need to do just a couple little maintenance things on the chicken pen real quick. The straw in their nesting boxes is getting a little thin, so I got to replace it. Usually about every couple weeks I need to replace it. Also, I bought a new bin that I can put their oyster shell in and any other kind of minerals I may need to give them. So I picked that up the other day, so we're gonna get that plugged on there real quick too and show you that. I think it cost me about $15 at the store, so it's not too bad. But first I need to go over here to the little straws, if you want to call it my shed, and grab some straw real quick. We'll go in here and see if we can get an update on that bird's nest as well. Everything still looks the same. It's just some eggs. I'm wondering if the mother bird might have left it. Oh, the bale of straw's all the way back there. What's up, chickens? Y'all need some new nesting box material? One of them in particular I needed to replace, and it's the one most of them use, and well, it's occupied. What's up, lady? You gonna get out for me? Appreciate it, girl. So you can clearly tell this nesting box in particular, they use way more than this one. So the straw in this one gets worn out pretty quickly, and I could see the plastic underneath it yesterday when I gathered up the eggs. So I need to go ahead and replace the straw in this one. Instead of adding to it though, I just use that as a time to replace it all. Hey, that's for your nesting boxes. Go, get, like a bunch of children. The curiosity level of a chicken is ridiculous. You put anything or set anything around and they're pretty much gonna start messing with it. But I went ahead and grabbed the eggs that they've laid already. We'll go ahead and get those put away. Now I stuffed their nesting boxes pretty full. And it looks like that would be way too much, but they'll actually jump in there and they really mat it down a whole lot. So I hear Q-Tip. Q-Tip, why are you yelling? Somebody's got somebody. What's up, Star? Hanging out with your girl? Got your cool little visor on that you colored that you got from school?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
This time.
I leave for like 5 seconds and you're in here snatching up big ones?
Yeah.
So let me grab what I need. This is what we need for the chicken pen. All right, so here's what I picked up to use for today. So I got this little, it's a mineral feeder. I think technically it's advertised for goats or whatever, but I'm gonna attach it on the side of the coop here, and I'm gonna use it to hold the oyster shell in. I've kind of, ever since I've raised chickens, I've yet to really find a really good way to put the oyster shell as a supplemental thing for them. I never really had a true holder for it or anything. I've just kind of always mixed it in with their feed, or I'd put it in like a little bowl, but it would keep getting rained on. They knock it everywhere. So I'm gonna try this out and see if it doesn't work out for us a little bit better. So the spot I'm thinking about hanging it, if you notice, this roof has an overhang plus with the gutter, and it almost goes out quite as far as the nesting boxes. So to keep everything kind of uniformed is I am thinking about adding another nesting box. So I need to take that into consideration. I think I'm going to end up mounting it like so, where it has a little bit of support from the base there. You can see it sticks out about 1 inch or 2. So I think that'll help support a little bit of the weight just in case, and then we'll screw it in right there. And it's plenty low enough that the chickens can access it very easily when they get to the age that they need that oyster shell. So I think we're gonna stick it right here, and I think that's gonna be pretty good. So all I need to do is get my screwdriver, and we're gonna get to knocking that out. I think that came out really well. We get that oyster shell put in there. I think that's gonna work out perfect for these chickens right here. Dude, you are so loud. So you can see that roof line covers it up completely. Now the only problem could maybe be some splashback from water that hits the ground. But I still think it's up high enough that we shouldn't have that issue. And you can see it's plenty good level on the ground for the chickens to access it. And I think this will work out good for them to have free access to the oyster shell. What do you think of that oyster shell tray? Oh, you see it. You always gonna be the first to notice something. What do you think about it? Does it meet your approval? So guys, I showed you this one when it was a baby. And I told you I was really looking forward to how it was going to turn out as it got older. Of course, it's still got some age to go before it's full grown, but I think this is by far the prettiest Americana chicken I've ever got.
Purple up here.
The cool colors of the burgundies, the oranges, and the grays and the silvers, but then it has these green legs right here. I'm really looking forward to see what kind of eggs we get from her, but she is, in my opinion, definitely one of the prettiest Americanas we've ever gotten. We got lucky with this one. I'm really pleased with the Easter eggers we got this year, so I'm really looking forward and curious to see what kind of color combinations we end up with. Not every day on the homestead is a big, huge project. Today was just one of those days where we had to get just a few little things done. You know, we got to get those seeds started so we can finish up the rest of our garden. And hey, the chickens just needed a little tray put in. Nothing big, but hey, you know, we're just going to show you what everyday life is like here and what little projects we have, whether they're big or small. So hopefully that helped you out a little bit today. Hopefully you took a little something away from it. But as always, we appreciate you tagging along. We appreciate you spending time with us. We hope everybody has a good rest of your week. And until then, y'all be good. And we'll see you here soon on the next video.